You know, we're getting towards summertime now, and every year when we get towards summertime, we start to turn our attention to the plants that'll survive in dry conditions. Because both on the coast and of course on the east side of the coast mountains in British Columbia, summers are actually quite dry. Even on the coast where we have a very wet winter and spring, summers get dry, so we start to think about what plants will do well in dry areas. We kind of often say they're drought tolerant, which might be a bit of a misnomer, but these are plants that will survive in dry conditions. Many gardeners have dry conditions in certain spots in their garden, little microclimates, and some people have a whole garden on the island, southern Vancouver Island or the Gulf Islands, in the Okanagan, lots of dry conditions. So let's dig in and talk about some plants that are very, very tolerant and even thrive in dry conditions. Many plants that are native to British Columbia are well adapted to wetter winters and drier summers. Things like Oregon grape, the Kinnikinnick, pussy toes, and sea thrift are all wonderful. That sea thrift, by the way, is a variety called Nifty Thrifty. So it's a cultivar with variegated foliage and pink flowers that bloom through most of the spring and summer. Really a great plant. So that's great that there's native plants that will do really well. We also have what people recognize very, very much as plants that tolerate dry soils, and that's all the succulents. So we have many hardy succulents that are extremely ornamental. This is a Sedum from the Dazzler series, and as is this little pretty pink one. And in the back we have the Sedum spectabile. That's the Stonecrops that get bigger and have big flowers on the top of their 18 to 24 inch high stems. And there's varieties with amazing, amazing color, like this cherry candy variety. There's also Lewisia. What a great plant. Blooms all spring into the summer, will do well in sun or in a bit of shade. Very, very tolerant of dry soil. So those are a few great choices. I wanted to bring to your attention a couple plants that are very, very iconic in the Okanagan, in our Penticton area. This is a Russian sage. Pollinators love this. It can be covered with bees. It gets blue flowers. This is a variety that's called silvery blue, actually, and that's just because the foliage is a little more silver than the straight Russian sage. That's a great plant. And not all grasses are drought tolerant, but this iconic one from the Okanagan really is. This is Calamagrostis Carl Forster, or Carl Forster's feathery grass. Extremely upright habit, great foliage. It's almost just like little columns or soldiers, and then has grassy flowers on top that come out starting in the summer and persist on the plant right through the fall. This will actually turn the foliage will turn a sort of a beigey brown color in the winter, and you can just leave it, you know. You can cut it down early spring, leave it all winter. Might get knocked down by rain, but otherwise, really, really a fabulous ornamental plant. It looks great in the Okanagan. Also great in the Okanagan and used in our coastal gardens too is the yarrows. There's a huge selection of yarrows. Some are native. This is a variety called Vintage White. Gets this cap of white flowers. There's yellows, pink. There's a variety called Terracotta that I just love, that's got that orangey, bronzy colors like terracotta. All really great, dry, tolerant plants. So that's a few of the ones that, you know, we can grow just about anywhere. There's a few things that are maybe just a little bit tender, don't do as well in the Okanagan because they're not cold hardy or winter hardy. This one is this is a new variety of Spanish lavender. This is called Primavera. And this is a great choice even for the Okanagan because it blooms absolutely all summer. It doesn't stop when it gets hot outside. Obviously all lavenders like dry soil and will survive very well in dry soil. This one, not so tender or not so hardy, a little bit tender, so don't expect it to live in the Okanagan. It'll survive on the coast in a nice dry soil. Well, there's some absolutely irresistible plants and really, really great functional plants that aren't quite hardy for the Okanagan or on the east side of the coast mountains, but are really fabulous on the coast, especially southern Vancouver Island is especially good for some of these. It's pretty dry on southern Vancouver Island. This is a Salvia. This is a hummingbird magnet. That's not the name. It's Salvia gregii. This one is called Joy. And I have another one called Hot Lips with red and white flowers. And they are extremely drought tolerant. They will grow very quickly, moderate hardiness even on southern Vancouver Island, but boy, they just are so rewarding all summer that you can't resist planting them, and then just watch the hummingbirds flock to them. I don't think hummingbirds actually flock, but you know, you use those words. This is this is a butterfly attracting plant. This is a California lilac, or Ceanothus Victoria. It gets to be a pretty big shrub. We have one at our garden center in Victoria that's about 8 or 9 feet high, actually, but you know, sometimes that's what you need. It's a broadleaf evergreen that blooms in May, June, and really needs a dry soil. It's not happy if it gets irrigation, not happy too wet, but it will survive on Vancouver Island and in any of the rocky or drier spots all along the west coast here. This one isn't in bloom yet. It's a summer bloomer called Escallonia Pink Princess, and it's another shrubby one. A really good choice for seaside planting. Fabulous plantings of this all over Salt Spring Island. It's cold hardy enough to survive most winters. It's got knocked back a few times in a very, very cold winter, but then resprouted from the base. And most years, no. Grows to about 6 feet high. Super glossy foliage, pink flowers, blooms all summer. That's actually all the things I have to show you. I missed out on the English lavender, because we were talking about lavender, the Spanish lavender not being hardy. English lavender is very hardy, so I just wanted to talk about that one really quickly. Really great plant in the Okanagan as well as on the coast. Needs that dry, sunny spot. And I'd love to finish off with a shout out to the cactus world. You know, really? Cactus in British Columbia? Yes, you can grow cactus in British Columbia. This is grown, I'll give a shout out to John Schroeder at the Naramata Cactus Company on the Naramata bench. And he's got these growing all along the slope where he lives. And he propagates them and grows them. And he's got about 35 different cultivars and species of cactus that will all easily survive our winters. But what they do need is very, 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 very dry locations. So on the coast, you can get these to grow in a west-facing place, probably underneath the cover of like the eaves or something like that, because winter would not do them good. Absolutely no irrigation. But hey, how fun is that? Drought tolerant plant for sure, and we can grow them here in BC. Thanks for watching the video. We have lots of great information on our website, and if you really enjoyed the video and want to see more stuff, you follow us on YouTube here. However you do that, I think there's like a link you can click below.